Yes.
Back with the battlefield to the boardroom. Back with our Tactical 10, where we take about 10 minutes every Wednesday and whenever day you watch this to talk about things that matter in your life as professionals, sometimes as veterans, as men, as husbands, as business owners, as all the things that we have going on in our lives, because it does matter. And I'm here with my good buddy, Philip Folsom, leader of the Wolf Tribe, and myself, Colonel Garth Massey with the Command Ready programs. And today, Philip has a challenge to talk about something important. So I'll let you tell him.
And the question is, how do you spell amateur? That would be the challenge to all the watch without looking at any of the things that you posted in there.
Right, like on Facebook. Very difficult.
Yeah. Amateur is a hard word, and restaurant is also a very hard word.
Yes, and calendar.
Colander can also be a hard word.
Also, Colonel, actually, just for the record, like,
oh yeah, colonel.
Sounded that one out at some point.
I get you.
But that isn't actually our topic for today. Today, we want to talk about the difference between amateurs and professionals, like people who are actually out to make a living. Because there's, I think our world, our society, especially with the teleworking and the pandemic, I mean, the side hustle thing is huge. If you are on here and you've made it this far, you probably have a side hustle and you are probably trying to generate income and make things happen and bring it all together. And as husbands and fathers, and we're constantly like trying to figure out how do we keep all the pieces in place so that those we love have the support that we'd like to give them.
And are thriving.
And
here's my little sexy segue. I think to thrive, you're looking at something that is more than just money. Sustainability is a holistic expression. So that means it's not just about professionalism, meaning making money. It's about, am I able to do this sustainably? Am I able to build in resiliency? Am I physically healthy, spiritually healthy? Is my relationship functional? Because those are all the pieces that are feeding into my success in any of those categories. And my kind of go-to analogy for this is I look at an athlete who is operating at a professional level. And they're not encapsulating, or compartmentalizing their athletics as that's just what I do there. And then here's the rest of my life.
Right.
It's holistic. You are building great intentionality and meaning in everything that you're doing that is supporting whatever that professional expression is. So your sleep, your recovery, your diet, the people you hang out with, what you watch, that's professionalism. And for me, I think that's when people start engaging actively in lifestyle or brand or whatever that thing is. When we move through the world, people go, oh, that's somebody to be reckoned with.
Yeah. No, hey, look, I did this. You'll see if you dig through my site. It used to be called Military Leadership Methods, and it was MLM, which the URL was already taken and has some negative connotations. And I ran that company for about 4 years as a side hustle. I had a job, and if you met you and you talked about, that industry, I would talk to you about my job. And if you talked about anything else, I would tell you all about this side hustle gig I had. And I did not become, a development or an LMS trainer until I stopped treating it like a hobby. Like literally the day I stopped treating it like a hobby, magical things started happening and contracts started lining up with very big companies, very interested in taking care of their people and really developing their leadership teams. But for 4 years, it was like a cool way where you would go, buy me a dinner, I'll teach you a class. I was like the hobo of leadership training. And now it's been almost a decade as my sole gig. And it's funny, like I'll get a lot of calls on side hustles and people are like, oh, you can make a little extra coin and you don't have to do any work and you're going to get this referral credit. And, there's all these glitzy Christmas light kind of things going off all the time. And I used to like kind of pay attention to them. Now, not at all. This is what I do. I do this and I do this all the time and I do this intentionally. And I don't have side hustles because they are a distraction from this. I don't invest in stocks. I invest in this.
Mm.
You know? And so I like that word. Intentionality is
Yeah.
big. And I know you kind of have the same journey because I know you launching the Wolf Tribe and the Philip Folsom programs. Like
Yep.
that was a thing on purpose.
And I believe at some point, when we start looking at professionalism, we start looking at the need to sacrifice certain things to operate at that level, right? Like, and that was your journey of going, well, this is no longer a side hustle, right? I'm committed to this.
Right.
Commitment requires sacrifice. And obviously the connection here, but between the word sacrifice is that it's about sacred. Like it's something really important to you. Your profession is something that is really important. It's your expression, it's your identity, it's your passion. Like,
Right.
and then at some point, uh, when you start going from side hustle, amateur, hobby to I'm committed to this, there's sacrifice. There are certain things that have to be laid on the altar and to being a professional.
So in the military, our line with regards to professionals and amateurs, the quote is,
Mm.
amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics. And the main point there is like anyone can be good at running out and fighting once,
Mm.
right? But if you really want to win big on big things, you've got to be able to resupply, rest, drive ammunition, beans, bullets, all that stuff up to the front lines. And you've got to be able to move your pieces around so that you can continue to advance on the enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that translates to everything that's going on here. Like if you want to become a professional, you got to talk logistics. Now, logistics isn't just beans, bolts, and band-aids, right? Logistics could be how you shape your environment. Are you surrounding yourself with things that keep you focused? Like you've got the banners, I've got the logo, we've got the stuff that shapes our environment and makes us think about what we're working on, what we care about, what we're doing. And I go to a lot of networking events, and I love when you meet somebody and they have like 2 or 3 business cards, and they're like, "Well, what do you want to talk about?" And they give you like multiple cards for different things they work on. That's not logistics. Like that's just tactics. Like they're taking whatever conversation they're in and they're trying to engage in it in that instant, instead of like a more holistic approach. So I think that's another aspect of it, like, or another way of saying it anyway, is that you have to treat this like a holistic entire environment. Like how does my environment feed this, whether it's treasure, talents, time. And you talk about intentionality too. Sorry, go, because I want to hear more about that too. Like the focus part is huge.
Um, I believe that there's a number of words that we could put in that same bucket, along with professionalism and sacrifice and meaning, and I'll add purpose in there as well. It's a defining, almost a upgrade to your OS of looking at your life. It provides an identity and purpose to what you do. Like it's not just eating anymore for an athlete.
Yeah.
You are looking at recovery, nutrition. You're taking it with a great amount of intentionality about what you eat. Just our food diet, but what are you watching?
Right.
Who are you talking to? What are you reading? All of those things are not random. Like I don't just surf the web. I'm intentionally hunting certain things that are in alignment with where I want to go and my purpose. And I think that's part of professionalism too. Is curate your social media. Get rid of every person, everything, every brand that is not in alignment with your profession. And the algorithm, right, is an example of the world. It's going to respond to you. So
Right.
just get very intentional with that.
I love it. Look, we are coming at you as often as part of our curated plan. I cannot tell you how much good this has done for me, knowing that on the schedule every week I got a minute to talk tactics with Philip. And then, these lead to other ideas, other collaborations, other networking for us. And then the engagement from all of you in the comments and in the views and the likes and the shares, like huge for us, but also can be very, very good for you. And I think it comes down to what Philip said. It's that active engagement. Like you pick and choose what it is you're interested in and then do that thing. And that's all you, man. Like that's a great point. So that's good. 10-minute tough guy tactic talks
or logistics.
Ooh.
I love that distinction, tactics and logistics.
Amateurs talk tactics, pros talk logistics. Like how do you support yourself so that you can maintain through the long fight? Like it's a big deal.
Build your calendar, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a big one. Like look at your life is take your life professionally.
All right, brother.
All those things. All right, man.
Good stuff. We'll talk to you later.